Hey everyone, Tony D, and welcome to the Piney podcast with my co-host Little Joan. Hey Little Joan, how you doing down there? You good? You had a nice walkies. Yes, you did. You had such nice walkies. It's a beautiful day here in South Jersey. Time to get out. It wasn't supposed to be this nice, but it totally is. It's definitely in the 70s. The sun is out. I say open your windows if you're home and air out that house because that is going to help reduce first off, you need some fresh air. I mean, let's be honest. We've all been cooped up. But more importantly, it circulates the air and makes you less likely to be to have some of that virus sitting around. So open up your windows, South Jersey, if you're home. If you're not home, close your windows because, Anyhow, what's going on? Well, first off, let me report the quick numbers. We're under 2,000, but that's probably because, as you all know, viruses, like state workers, take off on Sundays. So, yeah, we don't have to worry about the emergency during Sunday because, the state's closed and nothing is happening. So, expect the numbers to go back up on tomorrow or later today but it was good to see that it was under 2,000, I guess. But who the heck knows at this point? Because according to all the data, this has spread far and wide. And, most of the people they're testing probably just had it or don't have any symptoms or aren't really that sick. So who knows? Who knows? Hopefully when they get the test to see if you have the antibodies, we'll get more answers. But I'll get into more of the virus later. Let's stick with Jersey. This headline, what is this from? Patch? Yeah, Patch. 8 parks in New Jersey overrun this weekend amid the beer virus. I don't believe this. I mean, when you say overrun, that's a hyperbolic word. And then you read the article and it says, New Jersey reopened the parks this weekend, and the state says at least 8 of them were overrun. So, look. I live in a town of less than 2,000 people, and technically we have at least 3 parks? 4 if you count out front of Town Hall. And if you count a couple... we have even more than that. We have like 5 or 6 parks in a town of less than 2,000 people. So do the math on the rest of the state. We're talking probably 100,000 parks more. I mean, depending on your definition of park. I mean, we have spaces in my neighborhood. There's just nothing on them. There's a triangle in one area. It's just grass. I mean, technically that's kind of a park, but that one doesn't have anything on it. But then we have another triangle in a different part of the town, and that has a flag and a little plaque, and that's definitely a park, right? So, basically anywhere you bring your dog to pee and poop. So when you're talking 8 parks overrun, I mean, come on. It seems like you're stretching the credulity of this crisis. Stop ginning it up, okay? It's not that bad. Yes, it had a higher death rate than the flu, but it was comparable nationally. Flu kills about 30K a year, and this has so far killed about 60, and that's a lot higher. But in a country of 300 and what are we at, 50 million people, something like that, that's still pretty low. It's way low. So you gotta relax. And parks in Willingboro Township, New Jersey, not even reopening just yet. According to ABC News. Cooper River Park in Camden, New Jersey saw crowds, but freeholder Jeff Nash said overall stuck to the rules. So, see, nobody wants to get sick. Nobody wants to get this. People are, at least in the beginning, they're going to start to slack off. People will. But the good thing is this nice weather, the virus is just going to die in the sun. It's just going to die. Oh, what was this one? Some shore beaches reopened this weekend, but New Jersey police shut down access to 2 state-run beaches, according to the Philadelphia Inquirer. Well, thanks a lot for that, Philly Inquirer. I can't even look at your article because apparently I've reached the limit for the month. Sorry, I should have checked this before I clicked on the link, but oh well. I don't know why 2 state-run beaches would be closed. It seems stupid if you're opening all the beaches. The people who would normally go to the state-run beaches would just be annoyed and then go to a different beach. But what are you going to do? It's the state. And then this article, New Jersey should collect data on sexual orientation of beer virus patients, legislatures say. Guess which party that legislature belongs to. Yeah, no kidding. Assemblywoman Valerie Huddle, D. Bergen, plans to introduce legislation mandating hospitals in the state to collect and report more demographic information about the cases. Because that's exactly what you want to talk about with your doctor, something totally unrelated to your current condition. They collect that data anyway, usually, but to have this state assemblywoman want to collect it, just so she could grandstand about how many gay or straight people are getting the right treatment. I mean, please, lady. This has nothing to do with sexual orientation. This is an emergency. Let's all pull together and let's not try to divide people based on that information, because we know that's all I think you want to do with the information. Cat Country, one of the radio stations down here, is starting a thing where they're going to help people and community leaders open their business and not open them, but like help them and give them a little boost in terms of mentioning on the radio what's open. So that's nice. That's a good idea. The radio stations should do that. They're very local based, and that's going to be for the next few weeks on the Cat Country Morning Show. I'm not a country guy, but I think you're totally doing the right thing, Cat Country. Good for you. And finally, South Jersey school districts faced budget distress due to the pandemic. Now, see, this is kind of weird to me because the schools shut down and then did things via computer, right? So I'm sure there was a little cost in the shutdown, but wasn't there a ton of savings in the shutdown too? I mean, you didn't have to heat or light the schools. Granted, you have union guys and probably still have to pay them the rest of the year, and that's fine, but it's not like all the stuff involved in keeping the school operational had to be used up. Certainly you must have saved on food. The last few months of school, you don't even have to order any food, right? That had to be a huge savings. I don't understand how our school districts just continually cost more money. Well, actually, I do understand. I understand because they're a government program, and this is the way government programs work. When you get to the end of the year, if you haven't spent all your budget, the state turns around and says, oh, you didn't spend all your budget. Well, you don't need that much money next year. And they know that. So once they learn that lesson, they get towards the end of the year and they say, oh my God, we still have $8,000 in the budget. Quick, go out and spend $8,000 on something. And then they blow $8,000. And then they blow more than that, because what they want to do at the end of the year is come back to the state and say, my God, we felt $100,000 short of our budget this year. We're going to need more money, because when you get more money, you get more prestige and power, and you can do all sorts of cool things. So the incentive is to waste money and always ask for more. That's the incentive of a public school, and in their defense, all public programs, really. So, and you could say, well, there are mechanisms in place to avoid that. Yeah, well, they don't really work, especially when it comes to the schools in New Jersey, because they waste a ton of money on seemingly nothing, seemingly endless administration cost that we don't need. Because, quite frankly, I don't see the administrators doing much in our schools. That you couldn't send everybody home and have everybody work from a computer. And granted, Some people don't have a computer. I get it. Some people in poorer school districts, that would have been an issue. It would have been somewhat of a distress for a tiny minority of people. But almost everybody has a smartphone now, even the dirt poor. So those people could have FaceTime. Those people could have been in some way. So I don't see why anyone has to demand extra money. I really don't. I really don't. But that's been a fight in New Jersey forever, and our property taxes just go up and up and up. And what do these guys do? Well, there's nobody in power who's trying to reduce property taxes. I mean, think about this: your kid stayed at home on the computer for school. If you were going to a private school and they had to do that, I'm sure they would have to refund some of your money because your kid wouldn't have gotten all the advantages of a private school, right? There would be some kind of gym class that he wouldn't be getting, some sort of hand-on-hand instruction that you'd be inspecting, all those things. As a customer, you would expect some sort of refund. Instead of a refund, the public schools are saying, oh no, that costs you even more money. So this is the problem with public schools. We should privatize all the schools. Simple as that. If we privatize the schools, then they would be like little mini colleges, right? And they would compete over the best students. And the poor kids, well, they who were smart, they'd be recruited by the better schools. And even the mid-level schools would recruit poor kids. You could offer tax breaks to those schools to take a few poor kids. And for the bottom rung, for the kids who don't learn, for the kids who are real problems, again, you could offer tax breaks. And you would come in with these companies and they'd own 5 or 6 schools, and they'd have one school for the problem kids where all their tax breaks would be. They would call them tax breaks. And then you would have regular schools for the regular kids. And you could create a balance there where the private schools would be able to give kids an education for a rate that made sense. And you could get rid of tons of property tax. Notice that Phil and none of the legislatures talk about just cutting property tax. That would have been a nice refund, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that have helped everybody who lives in the area? A nice little property tax rebate? Yeah. So instead, everybody's property tax is going to be jacked the hell up to cover all the costs, all the elaborate costs of whatever task force these guys decide to build to study the effects of the beer virus on everything and on schools and on this and on that. Oh, but don't worry. It's necessary. Necessary for you to pay more taxes. Always seems to be. Anyhow, beyond that, it's a nice day. It's a nice day. Get outside, South Jersey, I say. Get outside with your doggy and do walkies and mow your lawn and all that good stuff. That's it for the Piney Podcast. We will see you next time.